what are some of the challenges that you as panelists in your individual areas of work face in bringing attention to gathering resources, whether that be people or money or spaces, to address the needs of the community that you're working with?
So when it comes to medicine, that's another system, and I think we forget about what goes into an entirely different system that has challenges. If I had 3 years, I could probably list all the challenges that we go into, but it's very similar to what my other panelists has spoken about. It's the intersectionality and the social norms that already exist. So the way that I would explain this is, when we even give visualization to the individuals who are experiencing these hardships, they're fake claimed. Fake claimed is the idea that anybody that speaks about their disability or raises money is just faking it for attention. And that is the norm. So the norm is that if you speak up about your disability or a chronic illness, you're faking it. So when you add to that somebody might be queer, or they're trans, or even just having the intersectional of being a woman or from a different culture, that adds to it. In 2013 is when they removed a piece from a textbook which listed how different women from different cultures and then queer individuals are. I'm sorry, you're just amazing, because she's shaking her head at everything. Explaining how different people from different cultures are basically naggers. So when like a woman or a queer or trans person goes to the doctor, if they're asking too much, they're just Jewish. If they don't speak enough, they're probably Irish. So that was literally in an American text, the American medical textbooks. So this is something that we're still trying to deconstruct, which becomes very difficult. And then another layer of that is that these individuals, like one of the reasons that I'm working back in domestic violence right now is because with the endocrisis connection, the endometriosis crisis connection, it ended up falling on me that a lot of the clients who were in domestic violence situations who couldn't go into shelters because they needed access to their medicine, which isn't allowed in shelters, like weed, which is sometimes legal, but not legal in shelters, which is understandable because it can be a trigger for other residents. But then you get to that dichotomy is, how do we keep someone safe? How do we keep somebody who is in the hospital safe when they are asking for help for 3 days and then by the 4th day they're screaming and they're labeled as an angry black woman? And that's coming from a recent example of how I had to have someone discharged from a hospital and brought to another hospital because they didn't listen to her. That's not how it should work. And it comes down to the idea of that we're told you go to the doctor listens to you, they have the expertise, and you go home with the medication. That's not how it happened. I don't know if it really ever happened that way, because our medical system is based off of torturing slaves and sexism and all that. So it's the same idea. So if a lot of people are in the audience here for the legal aspect or the courts, the same thing is happening in the medical system, because a lot of these individuals are dealing with mental health struggles on top of all of this. So consider that too when you're listening to the other panelists, that on top of what Eric is dealing with, Mazel tov, you're dealing with someone who has a mental health struggle and how that will impact what's going on in the court system. And a court advocate is not always is not always available, and they're labeled as crazy, but they're not crazy. Or I don't think it's right to call them crazy, but that's my laundry list for now. But it's very complicated.